Greetings and hello there, everybody. It's me, your beloved Star Wars dad, NOOCH Too Good, and it's Monday, so it's time to review all of your comments on my videos throughout the week. I'm really enjoying doing this. I think a lot of you guys are enjoying taking a look back at this too, and the reason is I feel like your comments have just as much value as anything I say. It's not like I'm like the end-all, be-all fount of knowledge about this game. I look at this as a community where we're all putting our brains together, coming up with ideas, talking through ideas. We know that I'm not a big on debate, but I am big on discussion. So I love seeing your comments, and a lot of times those comments even lead me to more videos down the road. Now, the first video of the week was that we had a couple of small ones. Last Tuesday was weird. Like, everything happened all boom in the evening. Another Lightspeed bundle was launched. And I was like, another Lightspeed bundle? What's going on? Now, the thing is, you had a lot of comments remain in this video, but I covered those in the video that's about to come up. So we're going to skip this one, and then we'll talk about this one. This was week 17, free to play on the Lord VADER account, and I actually talked about how I was changing the farming path. You know, doing challenge tier 3 for every assault battle was just going to be too much and probably going to cost me 6 months on this account. And when I look at these accounts that we're starting up, you know, these kind of side accounts, these free-to-play accounts, the goal is to do those accounts and kind of see what's going on with the game right now. And if I'm going to lose 6 months testing Challenge Tier 3 or getting to Challenge Tier 3, which with what would have ended up being a bunch of teams that I've already used to get to Challenge Tier 3, it just doesn't add a lot of value to what's going on. You guys had a lot to say about that. Let's jump over and take a look. Now, this was reflective. Mountain Dew here, 992. I agree with the logic of your changes. It's exactly as you stated. The whole idea of the account is to try the road less traveled and see what works and what doesn't. And so if on that journey we find out the path doesn't reach the destination we hope for, then there's no point jumping back to the road well traveled to do the same thing we know already works. This is a better way of putting what I was saying. The road less traveled, the road already known. I love this. Good job, Mountain Dew. I could not have said any better myself. Then Hexpoint said, I think this is a really good point. Just remember, just a year ago, the average roster would just be hitting level 85 at this point. This is insane progression for 17 weeks. That's not exactly true. Usually my account's at 110 days-ish, which divided by 7 is going to be 1 in that 40, like 15 to 16 weeks. Well, it's pretty close. Pretty close. So what we're going to do is, what I said was great topic for next week. So I think that, I did say I was going to run for president. It's not happening. I have too many skeletons in my closet, man. But great topic for next week. We will come in next week on week 18 and take a look at where these accounts are progressing as opposed to previous free-to-play accounts. It's actually nuts. It is completely insane, the changes in the game right now. And I debated putting this in, and I'm still debating it. I may delete this, but if you're watching it, I didn't, obviously. DRX buddy, I love you. I'm glad you're here. Profundity doesn't add value. Now, what do you mean by that? Because that isn't something I'd agree with. Profundity from the meta capital ships has best performance, etc., etc., etc. What I said was basically, I'm not going to farm the profundity because it doesn't add to the value of what we're learning in the account. We're not going to learn anything by farming profundity on top of the negotiator. But DRX picked out one small phrase out of that, took away the intent and the meaning of what I said, removed anything behind it, and I said, yes, I'm sorry, it just makes me chippy, man. And then you get into this, I don't know why you're so cynical. I just took straight from the word. One of my very best friends, literally one of my very best friends in life, does the same thing. If you're talking with him about politics or life or anything else, he's an attorney. He's a really good attorney, but he will get you into a corner with something that you said, and your intent doesn't matter, and nothing else matters except that he's going to win a discussion. So he finds points he can win, much like DRX is doing. DRX, again, I love you. I told you, one of my very, very best friends does this. He knows I don't like it. I don't like this. I don't like you taking something I said and then trying to pin me in a corner and tell me what I meant by it. And it just bothers me. I, of course, never meant profundity doesn't add value to a roster in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. You're the only one that thought I meant that, and I don't even think you thought I meant that. I think that you listened to a 20-minute video, found one sentence that you thought, oh, I can hammer that, and hammered it with the comment. DRX, again, I'm glad you're here. We welcome everybody. I just don't like this approach to listening to and talking about what I'm saying. That's all. And then came our next video, our Lightspeed bundles ruining Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. And I did this video in response to the comments that I got on the, you know, we got a brand new Lightspeed bundle out of the, kind of not out of the blue exactly, but you know, we got an image for it in the SWGOH events Discord server, so we knew something was coming, and then boom, a couple days later, the Lightspeed bundle drops on us. We didn't know it was coming that fast. It was a lot faster than previous bundles. They're really changing up how they do bundles in the game, and boy, this generated some comments. Let's have some fun here. Now, we're definitely going to spend some time in this first comment because I was misinterpreted here, but let's talk about it. So, Justin Beal 9072 says, I'm tired of the doom and gloom of content creators bemoaning spend mechanics that allow new players to catch up. If you don't like a package, then don't buy it, but don't begrudge CG engaging new players the ability to engage in the content the game has to offer without having to wait years for a specific currency. Justin Beal clearly didn't watch the video because that's not what I did. I asked a question. I asked a question that was reflected off of you guys. I asked it because you guys were making comments about that. For real, the game is a marathon. It's only getting longer. The more they add, the longer the catch-up is for new players. I started playing an old account from 2017. This is a good comment. I started from Colin Bacon. I started playing an old account from 2017 this recent December to play with some friends. I got basically every Lightspeed bundle except Ray, 5 million galactic power. I wouldn't say I'm insane in Grand Arena, and the Zeta deficit is always going to be there, but it's nice being able at least to compete in guild activities and stay competitive because of the packs. Now, we go down here. Now, where is it here? Somebody just loses it. Denzel Grant. My goodness. Denzel Grant kisses his mother with this mouth. You have to be an utter idiot. You're paying for nothing and not even realizing that. How much content does this game have for you to actually enjoy what you're paying for? CG hangs on the stupidity of fanatics like yourself who exercise no common sense. Your stats don't even matter because they say RNG when numbers don't lie. And if that's the mechanism you think is great, kudos to you. I don't really know what the last part means there. Denzel Grant puts a lot of energy into that. So then I said, this response was to the first comment, because I came in as these comments went fast on this video, okay? So I came in, and this comment, I need to start putting who the comments are directed to. When I say that, I directed this comment to Justin Beal here, and what I said was, let's see here. Is that what I did? I thought I was having a discussion and presenting all sides on the fourth way. So that's what I said to the first guy. Now to Denzel Grant here, who's just unloading on people for no apparent reason, I said, do you talk to people like this face to face? If so, it's going to be a rough journey, my friend. So I'm just saying, we taught this to my boys. I've talked to you guys. I'm having trouble down here. I've talked to you guys about this before. We told this to my boys when we had a problem with them. If you're not willing to say something to somebody's face, don't say it to them on the internet. And I highly doubt that Denzel Grant talks to people like this to their faces. If he does, good luck. Lots of black eyes incoming. Okay. Now, here's the problem. When I first put the comment, all I did was I clicked the reply here on my phone. I was on my phone, I saw it. And so all it said was, do you talk to people like this face to face? If so, it's going to be a rough journey. And it looked like I was commenting on the primary commenter, which is not what I was doing. So that's not what I'm saying here. This is fine. Didn't watch the video. Okay, it's pretty clear. You just expose yourself for that. Fine. But this was at Denzel Grant. So later I came in and edited it to say at Denzel Grant because nothing wrong with what he said or the way he said it. Nobody's talking about Denzel Grant there. And then NOOCH looking really petty, the phrase, tough journey ahead, lap mouse coming from YouTube content creator, that's wild. Guy just said he was tired of people complaining about more news, LSBs, NOOCH pulls out. Yeah, so that's not who I was talking to. And that's why I went back, and I'm going to do this in the future. I'll have to add in who I'm talking to when there's something like this. Quite honestly, we don't get a lot of like this much engagement where one comment gets this many replies in the channel, and I'm not used to replying it to myself. So that was directed toward Denzel Grant, who kisses his mother with the mouth, where he calls everybody an utter idiot and they're stupid and whatever. So that's what that comment was directed toward there. So here's another one. This one from False Shepherd. It took just as long for old players as new players. This is not an argument. Regardless of when you start, the grind is the same. It's still a grind, but I don't know if it's the same. The grind changes over time, especially with all the changes they're making. I get it, though. This generation wants everything and want it now without having to work for anything in life and in gaming. I find that to be just a false flag. And then somebody down here responds to it. Let's see. This generation, it don't matter what generation you're from. I'm Gen X and I love Lightspeed bundles. I wouldn't mind seeing half the game mode made into Lightspeed bundles. Yeah, just a note here. And all generations, as you get older, you think the generation coming up behind you sucks, okay? You think they're dumb, they want things fast, they don't want to work hard, they're slackers. It is... I've been watching it for a while. You can go back and read stuff. Every generation thinks that the generation from behind them is going to ruin the world and is lazy. Okay, every generation, probably back to cavemen. Okay, it goes all the way back. I'm just guessing. Probably on cave wall it says my son's a slacker. Whatever. I want people to keep something in mind. I want you to keep this in mind. Guess who raised that slacker generation you're talking about? The guy in the mirror. The guy in the mirror is the one that raised up the kids in this slacker generation. Maybe it's not your kids, and that's fine. But it's not worth the time. Kids are kids. Some people develop at a fast rate than others. Some people, learn how to work hard later. It takes time. It takes time to develop. Give them a little bit of time. We're all going to be fine. Here's one from Vengeance XTV. Lightspeed bundles in this game literally keep the game alive. I'm not grinding 4 years to unlock one character on a cell phone game. So... yes, right? I think a lot of people have and share this sentiment that, you're playing this mobile phone game, this toilet game, as we call it. You're sitting on the toilet playing the game, whatever. And a lot of people don't want to grind for years on end. Some of us enjoy that. A lot of people don't. So the Lightspeed bundles help people like that catch up in the game and start to play with the toys a little faster. And so, yeah, it makes the game much more available to those who've got some cash on their hands. Here's another one, TWB 1000. I think it's a mixed bag. They definitely have their benefits with allowing new players to catch up and enjoy the game faster. However, as a free-to-play player like myself, it can be very demotivating to see how slow I progress compared to Lightspeed bundle rosters. That's been the challenge of this game and any mobile game from day one. So it used to be that you had to spend, before Lightspeed bundles, which they've only been out for 11 months, so you used to have to spend in order to get yourself up in Squad Arena, then Grand Arena, Fleet Arena, whatever. That was it. Now you're spending to get your more rosters up for your entire game. I totally get that. But they've done stuff with free-to-play to make it go faster as well. I'm going to say this for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. I've played a lot of mobile games over the years, and as far as I can think, as far as gacha games go, like collector games go, and builder games where you're building up, like, I have all those, like, was it Game of War? What was it called? I don't know. Whatever. You build up a city, you build up your armory, then you build troops, and you upgrade your armory, build bigger troops, whatever. I played a few games like that. I played one called World War Z. Not World War Z. It was, what was it called? Anyway, it had a Z, and it was about zombies. And the way those games worked was whoever had the most money sat in the middle of the map and ran the entire server. Like, if somebody was going to spend $1,000 a month or $5,000 a month on a game, they could run an entire server and make everybody's life miserable or happy, just depending on what kind of mood they were in that day. Because if they were in a bad mood, they would just go and raid everybody's town and steal all their resources and just, like, everybody that wasn't in their guild or whatever. So this game is not really like that. You're able to farm at the pace you're farming, and you're able to build your roster, and you're able to compete against people at your level. So I'm thinking of Grand Arena, thinking of when you entered Fleet Arena, and yeah, there's still some Fleet Arena disparity when you get a bundle like Negotiator out of the blue. There is some disparity. That's always the challenges of a mobile game, but I do understand it for sure. And this is the last one we'll look at. It's a pretty good take by K. Darian here. Now, a lot of positivity about Lightspeed bundles in the comments. It really was. If you look through these comments on this video, a lot of people are really happy the Lightspeed bundles are here. And not in a nasty way. They're not like, you hate it. They're just saying, hey, I really like them. Why don't you like them? So a lot of positivity here. We'll go with K. Darian. I don't believe the primary motivation behind LSBs is to help newer accounts catch up. While it does do this to some extent, if it were the case that LSBs are a catch-up mechanic, Capital Games would provide us with some way of knowing ahead of time so certain farms could be avoided. That makes sense. If it was truly just a catch-up mechanic, they'd let you know ahead of time so you can avoid those farms. Maybe it makes sense, I don't know. But anyway, and then you would spend your money on the farm that's coming up, right? So you would save your money, save your shekels, and drop them on a Kylo Ren bundle or something. Which probably a lot of people are doing it because we kind of think they're coming back out, but we don't know. We don't know that. I also don't believe the primary motivation is to increase revenue, and it's not directly through these bundles because, again, if players knew ahead of time to avoid certain farms, more players would need these bundles when they're released. I think you can have two things that are true there. I do think the primary goal is to raise revenue, but I think they're raising revenue through helping the player base. So instead, I believe the primary motivation for releasing Lightspeed bundles is to control what the majority of players spend their time focusing on. I like that. by keeping not just those who have been playing for many years, but also those in the mid-game and to some extent the early game, focused primarily on new content. Capital Games can continually predict what the majority player base will be chasing while keeping us all within the portion of their game that brings in the most revenue, new farms. I think everything in here is true. I think that they do want to help new accounts catch up. I think they do want to make a bunch of new revenue, and I think it helps them control the farming paths in the game. So I'm going to take this whole comment and say everything in here is true, and that's how you run a good business. And honestly, you got to find ways to inject new life into a business when it's 8 years old. A mobile game that's almost 9 years old is almost unheard of. I mean, what are there? Maybe 50? I don't know. I don't even know if there's 50. Games that are 9 years old, mobile games that have survived for 9 years? What are the oldest mobile games? Somebody let me know. I think Clash of Clans is definitely still around, and that's probably the one that I think of. Clash of Clans, for a lot of us, is the game that got us started playing mobile games. So that one's been around for, I'm going to say like a dozen years or more. So, but other games, have come out after Galaxy Heroes. Galaxy Heroes has been around for a long time, and they've definitely put some new blood into it with the Lightspeed bundles. Our next video here we're going to look at is I'm nearly there. 51 weeks, spending $100 a week. A year ago, I was sitting on my light spending account, my Dolphin, spending account. I'm sitting on probably Dolphin. And I was like, let's see. I just wanted to see, again, experimentation. We're seeing what's happening in the game. I want to see what's going on to help you with farming. So I'm like, what happens if I spend $100 a week on a game, on this game, and then all of a sudden the Lightspeed bundles came out and it changed everything. And so we're 1 week away, and this video came out talking about how we're nearly there. I finished the Poncho Bros. We're on to Ahsoka full bore. Here are your comments. Gaming Layer, $5,100 seems like a lot for this game, but it's holding back, especially with $200 relic packs. Yeah, don't buy that pack. That pack's not worth it. Almost a year, $100 a week is wild. Keep up the SWGOH content. This one was interesting. Nathan Peaver, I really appreciate the series. I come from Marvel Strike Force where $5,000 doesn't go very far. Holy cow, really? Plus, chances are whatever it was spent on doesn't hold value past a year. Again, this is something that Galaxy of Heroes, Capital Games has done a good job of. When you farm something, you can hold value for quite a while in it, especially because it takes you a while to progress through like Grand Arena and stuff. Your teams are going to hold value for some amount of time in Galaxy Heroes before they fade away completely. They keep teams. The meta is large. There's not one or two teams in the meta. There are always multiple teams. There's one or two fleets in the meta at all time. There's three, maybe. There's only really one right now, but there are multiple teams that you can keep on your roster and have a use. Lots of teams have a lot of uses on your roster for a long time in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Yeah, so Mopey Negs, next you should try doing 1,000 a week for a year. Mrs. NOOCH Nisi, that's the... Dude, I don't even make that much on. At 1,000 a week, you probably would get where you need to be within 6 months. Basically, you'd have a lot of stuff in the works. I don't know if you could spend 1,000 a week, honestly, right now. Sanjita with the sarcastic. This is the best free-to-play account I've ever seen. Sanjita, good to see you, buddy. 2 more comments on this one. Renan Oliveira says, do you have Bo-Katan, the new one? I believe she'll be a requirement. I do not believe she's going to be a requirement. I am low-key. This is, hey, boomer. I am low-key, literally low-key, not like fake low-key. I'm low-key farming the requirements for Bo-Katan, Mandalore in the background right now. There's just no way, dude. They've already got 2 Relic 9s in there. They're probably going to add another Relic 9 Ahsoka in there. That's a lot already. Gas is going to be a lot for a lot of people. 3. They're probably going to add 3 marquees and a new ship in there. There's already be a lot of stuff. I don't see them adding in. They're not going to add in like the most recent journey. Would it blow me away if they did? It would be pretty shocking, actually. I guess it's possible. I don't think they're going to, though. I just really don't. And then the final account, I'll address this again. Can I have your account when you're done with it, NOOCH? So I gave away my Sith Eternal free-to-play account when I was done with it. I have not given it away account since then because I've seen too many accounts backed into by their previous owners, and I don't like the security concerns that gives me. That's not saying that if I give an account to me, I'm going to go get into somebody's account that way. It just seems like there are backdoors into people's info, and my info's out there enough. I don't give away accounts anymore. Sorry, everybody. It was kind of fun while it lasted. I just don't trust anymore, and it's not worth what I would perceive as risk, because I have literally watched somebody take over an account, run it for a year and a half to 2 years, and the old owner came in and said, I'm taking it back, and just logged in under their old login and just took the account back. And I don't want anything to do with any of that stuff, so I'm not giving away accounts anymore. And the final one we're going to look at today, these farms will fig the top, or not top 10, but 10 characters. 10 characters in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes that will fix your roster. 10 characters that will elevate your roster. You can add them to it. They'll take other characters and teams out there and elevate them to a level they weren't at previously. And this one got a lot of good comments and interesting comments as well. Josh Clemenson, I think it may be worth making an episode to qualify some of the terms you use for new players, defining what you're considering early, mid, late game, early, easy, medium, difficult, farm, etc. I have a video out there that does that. Maybe it's time to renew it and kind of talk about it again. Easy, medium, difficult, farm, etc. I'm a relatively new player, and hearing that Versio is an easy-ish farm was definitely not my experience. You've got some experiences coming, Josh Clemenson. Honestly, she's not the easy. I mean, by definition, she's not in one of the shops. She's not a Cantina farm. But a regular energy farm is 3 months. That's a pretty easy farm. It's not going to eat your life up. Farming one character for 3 months to get her to 7 stars just isn't that much of a big deal. So. And ships are twice as long, not 3 to 4 times as long. They're twice as long because you get 1 shard instead of 2. So there you go. But Josh Clemenson, welcome to the channel. Thanks for the comment. This is what I want to talk about a little bit. Zach Glover here. Bane should never be included on this type of list. Bane was in there. He isn't accessible at all and will take over a year to get once he finally makes it into Proving Grounds. Adding him, you might as well have said, hey, go get all the GLs because they transform your roster. The rest of the list is really solid, though. Seems a little extreme. I didn't say this is a free-to-play friendly list. I mean, I generally stuck with characters that you can farm very easily, but I was just saying these characters, if you want to farm them, will elevate your roster. And Darth Bane, more than any other character out there, and maybe that's why he's not as, you can get him right now in the Conquest shop. Pretty soon, in 3 months he'll be in Proving Grounds. You can buy him with some crystals. If you want to farm one character that can completely transform your roster and kill other GLs, Darth Bane, man. Darth Bane. And trust me, you'll invest less in a Darth Bane with however you do it. You'll invest less in Darth Bane than you invest by getting all the GLs. Excuse me, that one, I mean, a little drastic, Zach Glover. And I didn't say it was free to play. By the way, I didn't even say 10 easy to get characters. I just said 10 characters that will transform your roster. That's all I said. I have plenty of videos out there about 10 easy characters, 10 early characters, 5 early teams, free-to-play teams. I got all that's out there. Content is all over the place. You gotta talk about different stuff sometimes, man. I still want to do the same old thing over and over. There's plenty of the same stuff in here. I mean, talked about Captain Rex before. We talked about Zori before. We talked about I Knew It. A lot of stuff that's in here we've already talked about before. We gotta find new ways to talk about it and express it to newer players and different players that haven't seen the channel before. But anyway, Bane. That's exactly here. G. Hudson, thanks for staying up. Bane completely fits the title of a character that will fix your roster. You don't have to farm him. Took only 4 to 6 months to get him from Conquest. That's assuming you were in Conquest when he came out. That's just the challenge of Conquest. If you weren't in there when the character comes out, you gotta get it later. And at the end, NOOCH specifies these characters will fix your even mid. Yeah, I even talked to, I was talking about up to late game rosters of this for sure. So yeah, I kind of get it, but I never said this is for free to play or easily accessible. But man, a lot of people are liking that comment. That's for sure. Everybody's liking that comment. 23 folks. Sorry, guys. I don't mean to be offensive. Just go get Darth Bane. You'll be happy. I love this one, and there's a comment here. Just another consumer. What's up, buddy? Starkiller is also kind of overrated. No. The main value to him is requirements are all useful and sometimes fix other teams. That's true, too. The man himself isn't bad, and as a journey will help fix the roster, but as he himself is not what does it. Jadis Baltrio says, LOL, what? This past Datacron season, I beat every GL except Leia with Starkiller using Attacker Cron. I even cleared everyone but Jedi Master Kenobi and Snips for a Padme Cron with him. Even before the Attacker Cron, Starkiller was clearing SLKRs, Reys, Jedi Master Lukes, Jabba's, Sea and Territory War. Starkiller is very much transformed. And the other great thing about Starkiller is once you get him on your roster, you kind of got the roster sitting there. You know, you got Palpatine probably. You're You're going to put Mara Jade, that's with the farm. Starkiller goes in, you farmed one character, and boom, he does transform your roster. He really does. He's a Galactic Legend killer, and that's transformative. Here's another, like, rage typing here from ST4 Stars 517. Here's some characters to fix your roster. NOOCH, also NOOCH. Go get one of the most recent Conquest characters most community can't get for a long while. It could take a year and a half to get. The rest of this video is a solid list, but that Bane... Some of you guys really did not like the Bane thing. I mean... I never, again, I said it already. We'll move. Now, here's one that's super interesting to me from Kimmy Bobby, who's been around a long time. FYI, Wampa under the Farm Boy Luke lead and Hermit Yoda can work for wars. For territory wars, I guess? I don't know. Farm Boy Luke lead, Hermit Yoda with Wampa. I could see that. Like, you get the tenacity that Wampa gets from the Omicron, comes from Farm Boy Luke instead. You're not going to stack any tenacity, but you get the tenacity out the bat, and then Hermit Yoda adds offense to Wampa, and I just Wampa with a Farm Boy Luke to get a great effect. That's interesting. You know, it's nice. It's still not as good as he is in Grand Arena. That's kind of a nice little note there. Before you get the Omicron of Wampa, using her with Farm Boy Luke, yeah, he does. Wampa can resist his tenacity mod. No, you can't resist tenacity down. You actually cannot resist. Tenacity down is irresistible. No matter who launches it, you're going to get it. You'll see it happens a lot. You'll see characters like when Kylo Ren unmasked on his basic lands tenacity down. He always lands it, and if they have tenacity up, you'll see both buffs. You'll see tenacity up and tenacity down on the same character at the same time a lot. So you can't resist tenacity down, but you can cleanse it with Wampa's AoE. So that's the thing. If you think a tenacity down is coming, you save up the AoE, boom. Then you cleanse all the debuffs, and then you're off to the races. So, yeah, that's interesting. I don't know if it's going to be hugely helpful to a lot of people because he's better with the Omicron. There you go, boys and girls. Those are your comments from this week. I did get a couple of video ideas out of this that I didn't put them in the comments there. So one of them was, what do I do after I get to level 85? We talked about everything. We have actually that was in a different, but actually that was from an old video about how, you know, the first 5 weeks of your farm. Never mind. That's from an old video. That was actually a comment that somebody made. But I'm not going to bring it up here because it wasn't last week. You guys are awesome. I love you. I hope you have a good day. And always remember. That's right. This. NOOCH too good.